Hello and welcome to another of my videos about decorating platter and bowl rims. As you can see, I've already got a 12-inch beech platter on the lathe. The back has been turned, a recess has been turned which will stay on. I know turners like to remove the mounting, but I find it's a quicker way of working and it doesn't seem to bother the public as much as wood turners at wood turning club nights. Probably get into trouble for saying that. Anyway, the back, as I say, has been turned with a soft ogee shape to it, some texturing, some lines put in with a point tool, sanding sealer and burnishing cream to finish it off. So now I can just concentrate on the front, and I'm going to use a range of different techniques to produce something. I'm working along the lines, possibly another kind of finish like this, which is all but ready, just needs a bit of burnishing and the centre taking out, but I hope you enjoy the video. Well, I don't know, looking at it, this pattern here, it is quite interesting. I don't know whether, if I do go over it with black, am I destroying a lovely bit of pattern in the wood? Do you know, I think I'm going to go with spirit stains to begin with and see what that gives us. Right, now I've already sealed this with some acrylic sanding sealer. I'm going to start off with a dark blue, and I'm just going to do this area here where there's a sort of demarcation in the grain, or some figure, and see where we go with that. Few moments to dry. Then I think I'm going to put some on this slightly darker grain here. Okay, where it's dried, I'm just going to dab some more on. A little bit of darker grain there, just going to give that a bit of dark blue, so some kind of symmetry, some almost going on. So in the gaps here, just put some of the brighter blue. At first it looks a bit messy, but you have to keep going, I find, with this method. I have been experimenting, as some of you might know, with squirting methylated spirits on the finish with varying degrees of success. Mostly very little success, I have to say. Okay. Something that's still allowing the grain of the wood to come through as well, and some of the character in the wood. I don't want even edges, quite like the overlap and the movement that gives. But over here, very bare down here. Okay, now I think you're getting quite a green cast on it at the moment from my rather cheap webcams. I'm going to give that a few moments to dry. Then I want to soften this edge, and this bit here I'm not happy with. I don't know if I bring it up round, if you can see it a bit better. It seems quite bare there. I'm going to have a little dab with some purple in one or two places, and then I'll soften it down with some of the blue if it's too much. Just follow that through. It's lifted some of the earlier dye from there, or the stain I should say. And the point of doing this is to try to get someone to want to buy it, so worth taking time over. Keep stepping back, having a look from a distance. Yep, that'll do for now. Now the last lot of colour had plenty of time to dry as I went indoors for some pasta, but I'm going to speed things up a bit now. Now the eagle-eyed would have spotted that when I put purple on here, it actually lifted a lot of the stain underneath it. I'm going to go back over with the ordinary blue, try and give a bit more coverage. It's a bit thin in some places. Yeah, now that's covering better. Definitely worth building up some coats though to get the vibrancy that you don't get from just one. The most interesting spots for me are where the 2 or 3 colours combine together. Little bare here. I'm going to give it a chance to dry before I put any more on. You can see what I mean about the building up, how it really adds to the vibrancy. Right, I'm going back with a little bit of purple just to try and add a bit more impact there. And then that problem area there. Here we are again with a bit of the blue. Just want to add a bit more here. I like where the purple is coming in. I think this lighter blue over the top really picks up and blends together nicely. Get some nice little runs of the 3 colours together. Just bleeding the colours in a little, lightening this, get much more variety of colour that way. Right, still a couple of places that I'm not happy with. Down here looks a little flat in comparison to some of the other areas, and over here as well where the purple is a little bit faint. I'm actually going to just try a little bit of green over that edge. Yes, I like that. I like that effect. That's working well. I almost want to get something just to soften, change the transition here a little. Yeah, I was a bit too concerned with, it looked a bit too large an area there, a bit too boring, but putting some green in has lifted it. Just going to carry that back into the purple a little. Okay, that's enough for that. I'll just dry that off and then a last go with the light blue. That's just softening up some of that green, smoothing some of the transitions. Time to leave well alone. So the original plan had been to spray it black with some silver and then some blue centrifuge effect, but on looking at the blank I decided there was too much interesting grain, and you can see it coming through, I hope, in the video. Maybe better in the pictures. There was an interesting line of grain running here where it started perhaps to begin to spalt, and you can see the grain coming through in various places still, and beneath the colours here and lines here. So it's preserved some of it, but given me the you know, a chance to experiment and play around with a different kind of finish and a different kind of look. Maybe it'll appeal to some of you. I'm going to finish off with a little bit of airbrushing, just to try to address one or two areas where it hasn't really picked up enough of the colour. The little bit here I don't like here, this area here. And the chances are I'm going to leave the rim, you know, a good 2 inches. So I'm just going to try a little bit of white just on the very inner edge, see what that looks like, and then maybe take it further out. There's a little, yeah, I think just a little bit, just to tie some areas in. Now I don't want to take away from the effect I've built up with the dabbing, so just very small area to keep this stain in. It is difficult to know when to stop. Bit like cutting through the bottom of a bowl. One last spray. But I don't want any bit to look like it hasn't been intentionally done. Okay, finished. Right, so the bowl has been sanded. I don't know if this is going to burn it out. You can see some of the shine, but I've made up an LED strip light, which I keep on my tool rest. I won't shine it right in the camera, but you can see it's very bright. And that really allows me to see very clearly what's going on in here. Okay, let's take it off and have a look. But the front is really what is going to catch people's eye, and I'm very pleased with that. I'll put some other pictures. Hopefully it'll be a nice day for taking photographs tomorrow. Not supposed to show fingerprints, this wax, but maybe I put it on too soon. Well, I hope the close-ups give you some idea of the variation in the colour and how the stains work together. It was a fun project. Thanks for watching.